So today is April 28th, and 29 days ago, on March 31st, I had an accident with my horse. And so for the first couple of weeks, the trauma was working through my body in the ways that I noticed I used to work through trauma in my mental and emotional fields. I still do. But the ways I started doing that. And I thought it was interesting because I just didn't notice anything mentally and emotionally surrounding this incident. But I know all things have that if it's in the body already. Like, I was already having problems with my knees, so something is in there energetically. And after I mentioned that I wasn't seeing what it was, it came on quite quickly. That it did. But as I was processing that out, after I got past that layer, or started getting past that layer, I'm still working through it, I began receiving a little bit more regarding the as above, so below aspect of this. And right now, I see a lot of what's happening as energies just playing out. There is a lot going on outside of this density that we really don't understand at all. Even if I started trying to speak on it, I know that it would create a lot of fear in a lot of people. So it's really like we just don't understand it enough to say that, yes, it's good when it doesn't look good. So right now I'm not really focusing on explaining what I understand from that, because for the most part, I still don't really know what's going on. I just know when I ask questions, what I receive, and it's not scary. It's just playing out. These are things that have to play out, whether it's coming from other densities or if it's from this one, which there's a lot in this one that has to play out. Regardless, these things have to play out. And so I understand that everything happens for a reason in this density. Again, especially because as above, so below, when things happen outside of our understanding and then it shows up here, we just have to learn to be okay with what it is. Doesn't mean that we need to keep allowing it, but we need to be okay with what it is and then honor how we would rather it be. We have to respect things for what they are and honor how we would prefer things to be. Anyway, so going through all of this, I started receiving yesterday the above part, I suppose, or higher densities of what happened when I came off my horse. I've made the comment that my horse is my dragon. And this incident was really unlike any other, and it seemed like, it just happened. I had another incident a couple months ago where I fell off the stairs, where the stairs felt like they disappeared out from me. It just happened. But there were things that are happening to help me get into alignment. Everything happens for a reason, and all things are turned out for your good if you allow them. If you stop it halfway, then it's not going to get good. That's the problem. It's bittersweet. You got to keep getting to the sweet. If you stop it at the bitter, it just stays there. So when I was receiving the as above portions of this, and I know it goes much higher and higher and higher as to the reasons why and whatnot, and deeper and deeper and deeper. The understandings I was receiving were that I came off my dragon and my dragon landed on me. And it wasn't like us playing around. It was very serious. The energies that I was expressing out with at that time were very panicked, and should not have been for what I was really experiencing. Because I typically, I don't know, I felt like what I was expressing out didn't match. And the same with how my stepfather was. It just didn't match what was happening. I feel like it was close as to why it seemed close enough to match into the situation should happen, but it wasn't It didn't seem like this was what was happening. And it really didn't. Like, I saw him land on me. I could feel a sensation going through my body that there was something not right. But I really couldn't feel what was happening. And my horse did some bizarre stuff to get back, but he mostly, when he got back to the barn, was just sitting, like he wasn't eating. He was kind of sleeping. So he was going somewhere, and I really needed everyone to leave in that time. It was really interesting. Like, my stepdad kept trying to talk to me. I said, it's fine. I just need ice. And he was like, I'll be back. And I didn't really care. I was fine to be alone because there was something happening, and I really didn't understand. I just was really only focusing on the 3D, but something was happening, and I needed to be alone to allow the energies to continue to sort themselves out in whatever ways they were doing outside of this density. And so my horse was doing that, and I was doing that, and I realized, like, I've heard other people talk about, like, the wars that are going on in other dimensions, on other planets. And as much as I don't really think about that stuff very often because it doesn't affect us directly. I forget that indirectly it still can. And that this injury happening in multiple dimensions, like in multiple layers, is good because the injury that was already existing inside of my knee was very deep. It was on multiple layers. And so this allowed for the opening of multi-dimensional healing. And I'm really like channeling a lot of this out at this point now, because I was only receiving what was happening, is that there was an incident with my dragon, and that it wasn't an accident. It was foul play, so to speak. Like, there was some type of battle, or somebody was mad, somebody wanted to stop me from doing what I needed to do. Whatever it is what happened. And it is fine, because what is to be done is still going to get done. Time is an illusion. And that's one of the lessons in this right now, not just for me, but for other people that are expecting me to do something. Have no fear. I expect myself to do something too, but it's in the time in which it was meant to happen, not my time, not your time. And so I keep seeing all these layers shifting and shifting and shifting, like this massive Rubik's Cube with many pieces and many sides and many layers. And these pieces have to shift into place. And I kept trying to force pieces into place, and it doesn't really work like that. If you really force it, you could end up breaking it. And then it's not even about like, oh, I'm done with it. It's not how it works. You have to figure out how to put it back together to keep sliding it correctly. So if you put the pieces on wrong, you're never going to get it. So you got to keep paying attention. And I just keep seeing energies playing out and things shifting. And I'm slowing down because of my injury. But the world is moving faster and faster. But I don't feel at this point the need to keep pushing myself to meet that, because I have something to focus on. And that is so that I can be. So there are things that I have like to do, quotes, that are like wrapped in that, but there's nothing to do because we're waiting for people to be, and as they are, things will happen, and then things will happen, and then things will happen, and things will happen, but there's nothing to do other than be. And in every moment of being, there is an impulse of something to do. You don't have to think about it. That is one of the beautiful things that I have learned in the last few months, and especially in the last few weeks of being hurt. The world maybe doesn't stop, But your life is what you make it, and your world is what you choose to create. And so if your world is asking you to slow down, you slow down. And on that, if your world is asking you to find something fun, do that. Because that's what shifts energy, is finding something, whatever your world is asking for in that moment, whether it's what you want or not, it's what your world is asking for. Because you have a vision for what you want your world to look like, yes? So when your world is asking for you to do certain things, resisting it stops your world, your vision, from being as soon as it could be. All things that are meant to happen will happen at some point. But when we take conscious control, which is to consciously surrender control, actually, things actually flow. They flow in a way that maybe you weren't expecting, or maybe you thought would be faster, but you don't know what's really faster or not. You only know what you think you know. And if you think you know better than God, well, that's a whole other thing to work through. I got this shirt the other day that said, "God's still writing your story. Stop trying to steal the pen." And I needed that. And I know that people need to see that too, but I got that for me. Because wearing that reminds me, like, I need to stop trying to create something that is what my human might think it needs. I can't see anything here. I can't see anything here. But when I wait, and I just am, and I feel, and I listen, and I go from there, things flow. When I stop trying to have things be the way I think they need to be, things flow. When I stop trying to reach a goal that just, every time I take a step closer to the door, it seems to get farther away, I stop, I wait. Because there must be something that I need to see along the way. Must be. And at this point in my journey, having understood how serendipity really is my best friend, in this, I just follow what feels good, the impulses that feel good to my soul. Not to my human, to my soul. Even if my human doesn't understand them. And I've had that happen before too. Where something felt right, but I didn't understand, so it was weird. Until I opened up enough to allow it. And following that led me to other people that I needed in my life. But if I had stopped because my human thought it was weird, I never would have had them in my life. I would have stopped listening to the person that was channeling this being, that was channeling all this wisdom through, that I needed, that I know so many people are using, and that I keep passing on. If I had stopped because my human thought it was weird, but my soul was excited by it. That's an odd feeling. Talk about a paradox. To be intrigued and repulsed at the same time. And that I was intrigued by. And so I followed that. Why? Because my human thinks it understands things to be a certain way. But this whole time, we've been learning that my human doesn't know anything. My human doesn't know anything, and that knowing really is nothing. You can know things all day and talk about it all day, but if you're not living, living is everything. Living what you know is everything. Practicing what you preach is everything. Living and practicing, but knowing, it's nothing. We have had so many people that think they know what's best for everyone. And when we're putting it out, nobody's living. Knowing is nothing and living is everything. So the goal is for us to all be living, not existing, not surviving, but living. In whatever ways that means for each one of us. Because it's going to be different. And I'm laughing now because this started out with me talking about what I experienced, and it always comes back to the purpose. The purpose remains the same. Save for one thing, no more division, but peace. And with this, I close. I love you all.